Hello and welcome to another video by reitspro.com, where we give you insights on REITs and InvITs in India. Today our video is on Brookfield REIT, and the DPU of Brookfield has dipped to a new low. This is what we'll discuss today in this video. So before I go on, let me introduce myself. I'm Gaurav Jain and I'm an author and a trainer. And please visit our website reitspro.com, where you have lots of resources like books, videos, blogs, a WhatsApp group, masterclasses and downloads. This is all there on our website reitspro.com. Also, there's a message board where you can see the latest in the listed REITs and InvIT space. So we are going to discuss subject sequentially as what has happened, why it has happened, and what are the future expectations. And in the end, I'll have some important clarification, and I'll also pose a couple of questions to you about this whole subject. So stay till the very end and we'll discuss this in depth. So what has happened? What's happened is that the distribution has been given out as ₹3.85 per unit for this Q1 24. Now the record date is 23rd August and the payout date is 29th August. And if you look at it, this is the distribution. It's divided as interest on shareholder loan, repayment of shareholder loan, and interest income on fixed deposit. That's how it's divided. Now, if you compare it to the last quarter, the ₹5 DPU has dipped to 3.85. That's a little bit of a shock. And it also says NDCF 491 without considering impact of units allotted on August 2nd following the QIP. Now what happened was that there's been an additional acquisition, and the reasons are basically location advantages, tenant diversification, and sector diversification. And if you look at the acquisition, it's about two assets, which is Downtown Powai and TechSpace G1 Gurgaon, where a total area of 6.5 million square feet has been added. And the acquisition price is listed here, and the two assets were in fact resulting in an increase in the total number of units from 335 million units to 439 million units. So this was the whole acquisition. Now because of that, what has happened is that this is the rough working here. It's a rough working here of how the NDCF, the net distributable cash flows, have panned out for the unit holders. So if the 335 million units were there earlier, 1644 divided by 335 gave you ₹4.91 per unit, and now this has gone down to ₹3.74. Since sponsor is not entitled to the Q1 FY24 distribution, it's now ₹3.85. So the ₹3.85 is what the unit holders are getting instead of the approximately ₹5 that they should have got. Now adding new assets has happened because the company feels that there'll be geographic diversification, there'll be a tenant diversification, as well as a sector diversification. So it's going to be beneficial for the REIT as a whole. So the vision is of a far more stable portfolio in the REIT bouquet of assets. Now, of course, the impact right now is the unit holders are getting a lower amount of distribution because the newer entrants have got a slice of the pie that was already there. So that was a part of probably the negotiations that happened. So what is going to happen in the future is also what we are going to discuss next. So what is the impact of this going to be in the next 2 quarters of the year for as far as the DPU is concerned? So if you look at this, the acquisition is of completed revenue generated assets, and this should increase the DPU alongside with the diversity and stability. And the con call says that the expectations of ₹5 per unit in Q3 is expected. But then what do you expect in the next DPU? That means Q2. Now how does that happen? So you need to know, this is an important chart. So you need to know expected cash flows in a REIT. So quarter wise for Brookfield, the Q4 of 22-23. So we are talking about January to March 31st, 2023. This was given out in May 23. The Q1, which comes from April, May and June, is given out in August 23, and Q2 similarly in November, and Q3 in February. That's how it's divided. That's how it's given out. So if you look at the future expectation, the DPU is for the Q2 is going to be revenue after the acquisition date, which is in August, then income support from sponsor, the some amount of support that the income provides by the sponsor, and third is the cash reserves in the SPVs which the acquired assets are under. So the future expectations now, if after August, the next distribution would be in November 23. It's a Q2 distribution and not Q3. So if you look at November, when the next payout in November would be for the period of July, August, September. Now September complete month one would get, and 1/3 of the total of the Q2 is what one can expect as a DPU. That's the first part as far as the revenues are concerned. And if you look at the revenue stream, then the gross value assets, let's also discuss what the total revenue from the new assets are. So if the existing assets gross value is highlighted here and additional is there here, the total amount of assets are increasing by about 68%, and the NOI in fact is increasing by about 78%, and that this is how the revenue from the new assets would accrue. So if you see, the future expectations are like this. Stabilized run rate is 11,500 or so right now, and it's adding about 9,000 million rupees for the next, after the acquisitions of Powai and G1. So the total NOI becomes this much after the acquisitions. That's a part of this revenue will accrue to the unit holders. Now let's look at the second stream, which is the cash reserves. So if you see the cash reserves, in the con call it was stated that the reserves are about 23 crores, which is 230 million. If you see 230 million is 15% of this. So you can attribute it proportionately. The third stream is the income support from the sponsor. So these three income streams, first of the increased revenue, second of the cash reserves, and third of the income support, what would be the November 23 DPU? This is what is to be seen. I expect the November 2023 DPU to be a midpoint of 3.85 and 5, not really 5 and not 3.85, because these three revenue streams being the additional cash reserves, secondly the income support, and the revenues that will accrue. So if you are keen on learning more about REITs, then do visit our website and you can look at the training section. We help you clear your doubts with a special doubt clearing session, one-to-one doubt clearing session, as well as something like a crash course on REITs, which is a training package, a full training package. And again, there are certain important clarifications that I'd like to highlight here. Now, you must have all seen news that on very negative news on Brookfield defaulting. If you look at it, there is a difference between Brookfield, which is the world's largest real estate company, and the Brookfield India Real Estate Trust. So these are two different things. In fact, the Brookfield REIT was sponsored by an affiliate of Brookfield Asset Management, and the sponsor is BSREP India Holdings. So a lot of this news does really not affect Brookfield India Real Estate Trust, because Brookfield is different and Brookfield REIT is different, and Brookfield REIT is governed by a stringent SEBI regulation, especially as far as the borrowings are concerned. And another important clarification here is that unlike normal equity dilution, the REIT equity fundraise is a different topic. We'll cover that in a subsequent video later probably. Okay, so I have some questions to the viewers here. Now, Brookfield Real Estate Trust, the caption here is that it's the first and only institutional managed real estate investment trust. This is from their website, and they talk about deep rooted tenant relationships. So my question to you is, the DPU dip, as an investor relationship. What do you feel? Are you, if you are a unit holder in this REIT, so does this DPU to new investors out of the previous quarter's income makes you feel let down? Or do you feel it's justified and good for the long-term vision of the company as stated in the company reports? Number 2, if you're really concerned, did you vote on between the August 23rd and August 25th? Because that's a right that you have. A lot of the retail holders are dormant and they don't express their views. So my appeal to everybody is to at least exercise your vote. Okay, so now do write in the comment section whatever we've just asked you, please. It'll help us understand what you feel, and do visit our website and connect with us on WhatsApp and Telegram. Thank you so much.